The 17th day of the third regular session of the 21st Congress will now come to order. May we all rise for a moment of silent prayer. Chief Clerk.
Now for roll call, Senator Aritos, Senator Christian, Senator Figuer, Senator Coland, Floor Leader Harper, Senator Quinman, Vice Speaker Moses, Senator Nath, Senator Pollack, Senator Perman, Senator Romulo, Senator Rusmal, Senator Wally, Speaker Simina.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, 11 members are present.
We have a quorum to transact business this morning. A reading of the journal for Leader Harbor.
Move to dispense with the reading of the journal.
It's been moved and seconded that we dispense with the reading of the journal. Those in favor of that motion say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. We now dispense with the reading of the journal. Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. Chief Clerk, next item.
Mr. Speaker, item 5, presidential communications, there are none.
Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. Next item, Chief Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, item 6, FSM Supreme Court communications, none also.
Next.
Item 7, member communication, we have one from Chairman Perman, number 21-10.
Well, that's assigned that, Chief Clerk. That's very important. Members, read them before we consider the resolution. Next item.
Item 8, departmental communications, none. Item 9, agency or governmental authority communications, also none. Item 10, state communications, none. Item 11, state Supreme Court communications, none also. Item 12, municipal or town communications, none. Item 13, foreign government communications, also none, Mr. Speaker.
All right, we're now on the order of the day. Item 14.
For standing committee reports, Mr. Speaker, we have an awaiting list number 21-20.
Okay, short recess, subject to call of the chair. And we're on the standing committee report, there's an awaiting list. Chairman Net.
Thank you, Speaker. I so move to place the said report on the calendar for action today.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded that standing committee report number 21-42 be placed on the standing committee report calendar for action. Any rules to suspend? Floor?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to suspend the rule that requires 24 hours for availability of a report before action of Congress.
Any second? It's been moved and seconded that the relevant rules, specifically the one requiring 24-hour waiting period, be suspended. Those in favor say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Standing committee report number 21-42 is now placed on the calendar for action. Okay. Chairman Net.
Thank you, Speaker. I so move for the adoption of the report.
Any second? It's been moved and seconded that standing committee report number 21-42 be adopted by Congress. Discussion. Any discussion?
Short recess.
Short recess, subject to call of the chair.
When you
question.
Question's been called for. If there's no objection, debate is closed. So let's vote. Those in favor of adoption of Standing Committee Report 21-42 say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Said report is adopted by Congress. Next report, Chief Clerk.
There are none, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Let's move down. Item 15.
Item 15, special committee reports, none. Item 16, assignment of measures and communications. We have a referral sheet number 21-49.
Okay, German members, review that for your planning purposes. Next item.
Item 17, unfinished business, none, Mr. Speaker.
Next item.
Item 18, bill calendar. Mr. Speaker, for first reading, we have CB number 21-29 for first reading from your Committee on R&D. CB number 21-29 is a bill for an act to further amend Section 404 of Title 24 of the Code of the Federated States of Micronesia as annotated, as amended by Public Law number 19-169, to grant the National Oceanic Resource Management Authority, or NORMA, the discretion to exempt a fishing vessel from the prohibition of fishing in neighboring high seas and for other purposes.
Terminate.
Thank you, Speaker. I move for the passage of the said bill on first reading.
It's been moved and seconded that Congress pass on first reading CP number 21-29. Discussion. Any discussion? If none, there's no objection. Debate is closed, so let's vote by roll call of members. Chief Clerk.
Senator Aritos, Senator Christian, Senator Figuer, Senator Coland, Floor Leader Harper, Senator Conman, Vice Speaker Moses, Senator Neth, Senator Pollack, Senator Perman, Senator Romulo, Senator Ursmal, Senator Welly, Speaker Semina. Mr. Speaker, 11 members voted in favor.
CP number 21-29 has passed Congress on first reading. The next bill.
Mr. Speaker, the next bill is CB number 21-134, CD1 for second reading. CB number 21-134, CD1 is a bill for an act to appropriate the sum of $4,200,000 from the General Fund of the Federated States of Micronesia for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2020, for the purpose of funding public projects and social programs for the people of Yap, Koshai, Pohnpei, and Chuk states, and for other purposes.
Chairman Figuer.
Move for the passage of the bill on second and final reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that Congress pass on second and final reading CP number 21-134 CD1. Discussion? Any discussion?
Question.
Short recess after the call of the chair. Okay. Congress is back in session. Chairman Ursimo, you have the
Yeah,
floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. There is a written floor amendment that has been duplicated and printed and distributed to everybody, all members. It's rather long, but therefore I ask that we forego with the reading of it in its entirety and move that it be adopted. So move.
It's been moved and seconded that the offer for amendment to CP number 21-134 offered by his truly, Senator Joseph Ursimo from YAP, be adopted. Because of its length, we will dispense with its reading. And
Mr. Speaker, I was wanting the chief clerk to read it. No?
Floor Leader Harper, any motion to suspend?
Yeah, move to suspend the rule that prohibits a substantive amendment on second and final reading.
It's been moved and seconded that the relevant rules, specifically the rules prohibiting substantive amendments on second and final reading, be suspended. Those in favor say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Those rules are now suspended. So discussion on the offer for amendment.
Speaker,
Mr. Speaker.
Vice Speaker Moses. You have
Thank
the
you,
floor.
Mr. Speaker. I wish to make an amendment on the offered floor amendment by Chairman Ursman.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On page 3, item 11, sub-item A, where it says Param Net Channel Development, strike out 100,000 and insert 140,000. And sub-item B, strike out net road pavement and maintenance and insert Luca net secondary road paving. And then strike out the 80,000 and insert 40,000 in lieu thereof. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
It's been moved and seconded that the offered oral amendments to the proposed four amendments offered by Vice Speaker Moses be adopted. Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Okay. Congress is back in session. We're still on that oral amendments, on those oral amendments offered by Vice Speaker Moses. Discussion on it? Any discussion? If none, there's no objection. Discussion is closed. So let's vote. Those in favor of adopting those offered oral amendments by Vice Speaker Moses, say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. The offered oral amendments by Vice Speaker Moses are adopted. Any further discussion on the offered floor amendment by Chairman Ursimo as amended? Yes?
Speaker,
Floor
thank
Leader
you.
Herbert?
Yeah, I simply want to state for the record my appreciation to whoever is generous and kind enough to raise election district number 1 in Chuk share from 300 to 320. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we need to look up to whoever that is. Keep giving us, maybe you can give the other election districts in Truk 20 each. Okay? I'm not looking at anybody, I'm just looking around. Okay? Any further discussion on the other four amendments as amended? Questions being called for. If there's no objection, the offered, discussion is closed. So let's vote. Those in favor of the offered four amendments to CB 21-134 as amended once, say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried.
Sorry, says Mr. Speaker.
Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. I will reopen discussion. Chairman Rusimo, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and my apology for having to bring us back here. On page 1 of the written amendment, under section 1, page 1, under the section for YAP, letter B should read, medical costs of referrals for uninsured patients. So move.
It's been moved and seconded that the offered oral amendments by Senator Rusimo be adopted. Discussion? Any discussion on it? If none, there's no objection. Discussion is closed, so let's vote. Those in favor of adoption of the offered oral amendments by Chairman Rusimo, say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. So the offered oral amendments are adopted. We now are continuing to discuss the offer for amendments to CB 21-134 as amended twice. Okay, any further discussion? on it?
Speaker, short recess.
Short recess, okay, call of the chair. Or you can, if Congress is back in session, we're still discussing the offered for amendments to CB 21-134 as amended twice.
Yes,
Chairman
Speaker.
Berman, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Speaker. I have oral amendment to offer on the said bill. On page 2, number 7, maybe this one is technical. The L, Colonia 1 government should be Colonia Town Government Building Renovation. And O, parentheses, O, Spanish Wall Sidewalk / Playground Project, not repair. So move, Mr. Speaker.
It's been moved and seconded that the offered oral amendments by Chairman Berman to the for amendment as amended twice be adopted. Discussion? If no discussion, discussion is closed. Let's vote. Those in favor of adoption of the offered oral amendments by Chairman Berman say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. We now, those offered amendments are adopted. We now have an amendment that's been amended 3 times. Okay, any further discussion on that? Senator Christian, you were raising your hand.
I just wanted to say that the Sergeant at Arms were falling asleep again.
Thank you for pointing that out, Senator Christian. Maybe that's what you will be tasked to do. We don't want to keep a lookout on the Sergeant at Arms. Okay. Any further discussion on the upper floor amendments as amended 3 times? If none, there's no objection. Debate is closed, so let's vote. Those in favor of adoption of the upper floor amendment to CP 21-134 is amended 3 times, offered by is truly Chairman Rusimo. Say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. The offer for amendments to CB 21-134 as amended Three times is now adopted by Congress. We now have CD2. Any further discussion on CD2? Questions being called for? If there's no objection, debate is closed. So let's vote by roll call of delegations. Second reading. Chief Clerk.
State of Trek, Chairman Aritos. State of Pohnpei, Chairman Perman.
Amen.
State of Kushai, Chairman Wally. State of Yap, Chairman Ursmal. Mr. Speaker, all the four states voted in favor.
CP number 21-134 CD2 has passed Congress on second and final reading. Next bill.
There are none, Mr. Speaker.
Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress back in session. We're still on the bill calendar. Chairman Figueroa, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to withdraw Congress Bill number 21-127 from your Committee on Ways and Means and put on the bill calendar for first reading.
It's been moved and seconded that CB number 21-127 be withdrawn from committee and placed on the bill calendar for first reading action. Those in favor of that motion say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. CP number 21-127 is withdrawn from committee and placed on the bill calendar for first reading action. Chairman Figueroa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Congress pass Congress Bill 21-127 on first reading.
It's been moved and seconded that Congress pass on first reading CP number 21-127. Read the title. Prepared.
Mr. Speaker, CB number 21-127 is a bill for an act to further amend section 226 of Title 55 of the Code of the Federated States of Micronesia as annotated, as amended by Public Law number 21-17 by amending a subsection 2B for the purpose of requiring the Secretary of the Department of Finance and Administration to submit the required revenues projection reports under penalty or perjury, and to add a new subsection 2C for the purpose of requiring the Secretary of the Department of Finance and Administration to explain in writing any 10% variance in any line item submitted under subsection 2B of this section and for other purposes.
Okay, there you have it. Discussion. Any discussion?
Speaker,
Yes.
thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Palik.
I note the purpose of this bill is to require Secretary to submit required revenue projections. That term, projection, is where my concern is. I mean, we put that requirement on submitting a report on deadline. That's a different matter. But when we ask them to provide a projection, they can always say, well, it's a projection. So I'm trying to balance out how do we enforce making sure he send us projections. And his excuse is always, as we heard many times, well, it's just a projection. Whether there's a tolerable variance, that's a different matter. The other concern I have is, Mr. LC, can you explain what's the penalty of perjury currently in the law?
Short recess.
Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Any discussion on the bill? Any further discussion? If none, there's no objection. Discussion is closed, so let's vote by roll call of members, first reading. Chief Clerk?
Senator Aritos. Senator Christian. Senator Figuer. Senator Coland. Floor Leader Harper. Senator Conman. Vice Speaker Moses. Senator Ned. Senator Pollack. Senator Perman. Senator Romulo. Senator Usmal. Senator Willie. Speaker Simina.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, 11 members voted in favor.
For that reason, CB number
Speaker.
21-127 has passed Congress on first reading. Next bill.
So recess.
Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. The CB 21-127 has passed Congress on first reading. Next bill.
Resolution.
There are none, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, we're done with bills. No objection. We now go down to item 19.
Sure? We only have 11 members.
First resolution. Chief Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, the first resolution is CR number 21-117 for adoption.
Consider which is the amount.
CR or Functional Resolution number 21-117. It's a resolution to amend certain terms of the President's Public Health Emergency Declaration dated January 31st, 2020.
Okay, Floor Leader Harper.
Speaker, I move for adoption of said resolution.
Any second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that Congress adopt resolution number 21-117. Discussion. Any
Short
discussion?
recess. Short recess.
Short recess, subject to call of the chair. I see one from
Why you laugh?
Okay. Congress back in session. We're still discussing resolution
Yeah, Mr.
117.
Speaker.
Chairman Berman, you
Yeah,
have
I
the floor.
have a proposed amendment, a written amendment to the said Congressional Resolution 21-117. It's a short one, so may I ask the Chief Clerk to read it?
Chief Clerk, read the proposed amendment to 117 by Chairman Berman.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we have an amendment to Functional Resolution number 21-117. proposed by Senator Fernie Esperman. Item 1 of the amendment on page 2, line 8. Delete the figure 600,000 and insert the figure 700,000 in lieu thereof. Item 2 of the amendment on page 3, line 6. Delete the words new information and insert the words World Health Organization guidelines in lieu thereof.
So moved, Mr. Speaker.
It's been moved and seconded that the offered floor amendment to CR 21-117, offered by Senator Berman, be adopted. Discussion? Any discussion
On the resolution
on the offered amendments?
amendment.
Question.
Questions be called for. If there's no objection, debate is closed. So let's vote. Those in favor of adoption of the offered floor amendments by Senator Berman to CR 21-117, say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. The offered floor amendments are adopted. We now have CT 1.
Speaker,
Further discussion? Chairman, Figueroa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have an oral amendment. It's very simple and short one.
Quiet.
On section line 19, after the Roman numeral 2, after it should read the declaration of emergency of January 31, 2020 is hereby extended up to 60 days from the date of the declaration period. After, in that line 21, after the declaration period, delete the following phrases: and may be signed by the President or revoked or amended by Congress at any time within the time period. I just want that phrase out.
Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Congress is back in session. We're still discussing the offered oral amendments by Chairman Figueroa. Any
Question.
further discussion?
Question.
Question's been called for. If there's no objection, discussion is closed on the offered oral amendments. So let's vote. Those in favor of adoption of the offered oral amendments by Chairman Figueroa, say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. The offered oral amendments are adopted. We now have CT2. Any further discussion on CT2? Short recess, subject to call of the chair. Chair- Aye, aye. Congress is back in session. We're still discussing CR number 21-117. Any further discussion? If none, there's no objection. Debate is closed. So let's vote. Those in favor of adoption of the resolution number 21-117 CD2, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Resolution number 21-117 CD2 is adopted by Congress. Next resolution.
Speaker,
Yes,
Mr.
Chairman Rusmo.
Chief Clerk and I are having problem communicating with each other. But anyway, I rise on a point of privilege.
Proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. After all the noisy discussion on the floor relating to the adopted resolution, it is a great pleasure and honor for me to introduce 21 students, I believe, from our own College of Micronesia FSM, Palicar campus, who are sitting in the gallery this morning observing our session. They are led here by instructor number 1, Moika Rivera, and instructor number 2, Casiano Paul. And these students are taking a literature class at COM, Literature of the Sea. It's a Micronesian class, and I am very proud and happy to hear that our own college is teaching something about us and not all the time teaching something about other places and other people and so on. So, with your permission, Mr. Speaker, as I said, I have a list of 21 students with the 2 instructors. I wish to have this inserted in today's journal, and on our behalf and all of us, I ask that they rise so we can give them a collective round of applause in welcoming them to this chamber.
May you all stand up so we can give you a
And if I may, Mr. Speaker, I am also very happy to note, just by looking at the names, that there are Yapis here, there are Kosrayans, there are Chukis, and there are Panapens. So, welcome, thank you very much, study hard, and I hope you learn something about Micronesian literature. One of the students from Yap is no other than someone that belongs to our staff who is here in Ponape. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman Ursumal, for introducing our students from our own college. On behalf of the Congress, we joined Chairman Ursumal in welcoming you to observe your Congress in action. As you have just witnessed just a few minutes back, we were discussing one of the pressing, urgent issues for our nation, and that is concerning the coronavirus issue that's really impacting us as a people and as a nation. So, welcome.
To continue, I think there is from you, Mr. Speaker, a small token of our appreciation for their visit, something that they can either take care of it here or on the way back to the college. Thank you.
Thank you for the good gesture, Chairman Ursumal, for offering whatever that is. And their names will be inserted in the journal, so they can be in the Congressional Journal forever, that you were here in Congress this date. Any other point of privilege? Chairman Perman? Oh, by the way, for those students from YAP, you're very lucky because Chairman Ursumal just put in some money to pay off some of your debts for your tuition. And for the Truckee students, I apologize that Chairman Conman, Chairman Coolant, and Chairman Romulo are not here. They ran back to Truk, so just for information. Thank you. Any other point? Yes,
Yeah,
Chairman Wally?
we already allotted money for the Kosrayan student at CUN.
Well, that's great. See,
Speaker.
that's great news. Yes, Chairman. Perman?
Motion to stand in recess till tomorrow, 10 a.m.
So motion to stand in recess until tomorrow at 10. Those in favor of that motion say yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Congress now stands in recess until tomorrow at 10 in the morning.
Members of your